The same Magellan Strategies poll that provided results in the governor's race also showed results for the two transportation ballot issues. Proposition 110 garnered 35% approval with over 30% undecided, and Proposition 109 had 52% approval. David, in full disclosure, the Independence Institute sponsors Proposition 109, but are you surprised at seeing that many undecideds on both of the issues?
No, because I think that's common for ballot issues other than like the most highest level, nuclear level thing that still a lot of people don't know about until close to the election. I would thank Governor John Shafroth, our great progressive Democratic governor from 1912, and President Theodore Roosevelt, who were the keys to getting the legislature to put on the ballot the constitutional amendment which created the right of citizen initiative. And, look at this thing. You've got, obviously I have a bias on this. You've got 110, which is the Chamber of Commerce thing, huge increase on the sales tax. Less than half of the money will go to the state roads projects, which are so desperately needed, and most of the rest of the money, or at least a large share of it, goes to local government slush funds with little accountability.
Admittedly, though, local control has been usually a stance that
local control is fine, exactly, and
right.
That's why, in Boulder, we vote all the time to increase our taxes for things like bike lanes, and which I'm very much for, but that's the local voters deciding on how it's going to be done instead of money from one part of the state coming to another part of the state, and the county commissioners or the city council just gets to spend it without the control of the voters, and actually with very little accounting reporting they have to do back to the state for how they spend the state money. Huge amount of money on that, and now only about a third of the voters are for it despite all that advertising. At the Independence Institute, we spent several $100,000 to get it on the ballot, and as far as I know, our expenditures since then have been zero. We have no money for advertising on this.
I saw Caldera at the sandwich board.
Our campaign is Caldera and Mike Krause from the Independence Institute going out to speak at luncheons and things like that, so I suppose the gas money they spend is it. And yet, thank you, President Roosevelt and Governor Shafroth, the people seem to be seeing through things and taking the thing of note. Spend your existing money to improve the roads. You got $1 billion surplus, just put a quarter of that into fixing our roads.
Eric, we didn't have David here last week, so this was, we finally get some honest to goodness 20th century administration history, so thank you, David. Eric, do you think because of the length of the ballot, especially in Denver, that voters just might be in a no mood when they go down, that they get kind of voter fatigue? What do you think?
I think there's definitely a chance, and even maybe, Dominic, a likelihood of that. That's a theory I've advanced for some time, that this could be a vote no kind of year for the reasons you expressed, and just general alienation, general frustration. I mean, even when you get to Denver, where you have those 4 tax increases on the Denver ballot, all sales tax increases, Denver has always been a very tax-friendly place. And I was having coffee yesterday, I'll keep him nameless, but a prominent Denverite who, shall we say, is not known for her aversion to taxes, and was planning to vote no on all of these just because it's too much. Mm-hmm. It is too much, and there's no discipline of trying to sort it out. To 109 and 110, my biggest question mark these days is not what happens to 110. I would be amazed if that one can get near 50%. The history of ballot issues is you usually start with everything or close to everything you're going to get, and then it's a battle of atrophy. So you try to start them at 60% and keep the atrophy from dragging you under 50. If they're at 35, 36, 38 now, it is hard to climb to where they need to go. My question is whether 109 passes or whether neither of them pass. And I think that might be what keeps us up, or at least keeps us tuned in and interested on election night.
Brother Jeff, it feels like transportation is a universal issue, but how we handle it certainly is not. What do you think?
Well, I think that something must be done. It's been about 30 years, I believe, in terms of something being done around this transportation issue. Now we're in a feast or famine mode. 2 propositions on the ballot, and they seem to be battling each other. It's like fighting between your mother and your father, and they're getting a divorce or something. Choose us, choose us. Don't choose any. But I think that at some point we're going to have to figure out how to pay for this. They're saying bond issues. They're saying, well, some sales tax. I'm thinking about travels when I go to Illinois, and every few blocks I seem to be stopped to have to throw some change into one of those toll booths. And you've got to start traveling with a pocket full of money just to make your destination and return. So 9 and 10, I don't know. Feast or famine, a lot of people not talking about it, and it gets very complicated and in the weeds around this. And I don't know if people are going to really drill down and try to figure it out.